Welcome to MTG Grinders. My name's David and we're looking at the PPTQ Hillside Milwaukee, and I'm here with Trent Clark.
Hello.
And this is round one, game one, and it was a beautiful Sunday. We were all freezing in the shop to start off with, but it warmed up. And who have we got here in round one, Trent?
So on the right, with the Hillside playmat, the Game Shack playmat, we have Alan Zhang, personal friend of mine. Was he GP winner, Sydney, Sealed Event, Sealed Limited. Not a bad player.
And on the on the left, we've got Pat Haynes.
Yeah,
I apologise if I mispronounced that.
You probably butchered that.
Yeah, but Alan's come out with a Death Dealer, which quickly got bile-blighted to the graveyard there by Pat.
So Upside Aggro versus Blue-Black Control, typical standard Tier 1 kind of metagame battle here. We don't see too much different in the lists. Pat with 4 downfall, 3 blight, 3. He's actually running the Perilous Vault, so no dragons. This is typical blue-black. We've seen it wasn't Yasuoka. Who was running the blue-black Perilous Vaults, non-dragons at the last Pro Tour?
Can't remember off the top
Sullivan,
of my head.
Adrian Sullivan. So Adrian Sullivan's list. We just had one Silumgar command in the main deck, which is quite interesting. Not had the chance to play with that. Along with 3 copies of Ashiok, 1 copy of Ugin, and 1 copy of Silumgar the Drifting Death to take the game down.
As we're talking here, Alan's come out with Anafenza. We're looking at Thoughtseize to try and protect that Anafenza before anything else happens. Alan's playing, looks like the GP Paris.
Yes.
Winner deck list,
yep.
Which I also played on the day. I did not go well with it. We'll see how Alan goes right here. We're looking at double downfall, ultimate price.
Silumgar's command.
Silumgar's command. Ah, interesting. Ashiok and an Ugin. What would you be taking here, Trent?
This is an interesting one. Obviously, you can't stop the Thoughtseize, so it's fine to resolve. And the fact that he has 2 heroes downfalls means that Alan can't take obviously both of them and allow his Anafenza to survive. I'm not too sure about Silumgar's command as to how good it is. Ultimate Price is not very good in this matchup. I believe it only hits Surak the Hunt Caller and Warden of the First Tree,
yep.
and I think a Siren Emblem token.
But not really much that you don't worry about.
And a Wingmate Rock, but definitely not as good as Hero's Downfall. I think maybe taking Ashiok could be good, but it depends on what's on Alan's hand. If Alan's got a lot more threats that he can actually just power through the 2 sets of Hero's Downfall, as we all see now that this Anafenza is going to bite the dust pretty soon, you would assume.
Well, taking the downfall there, it would make me think that he's got a second Thoughtseize in hand.
I think he just needs to. I think it also means that he just needs to power through the removal.
Sure.
He needs to try and take. If he doesn't have the creatures, maybe he takes the Ashiok and goes for the longer game. Just tries to draw some more land in that. He may have bricked on land. No, we see a pair of Scrylands in Alan's hand.
I think it's a Tri-land and a Scryland.
Tri-land, sure. Definitely a Temple of Plenty. A little bit of discretion about how Anafenza works. I'm not too sure as to why.
In this case, from what I understand, Anafenza just goes straight to the graveyard because as she's left, her ability no longer applies.
This is a good follow-up from Alan. This is actually really good. Being able to take the Thoughtseize, get all the information, taking out the only other threat that we know that's in Pat's hand for Alan's creatures.
Sure.
And Pat didn't have another land, so Alan can also decipher that he's drawing off the top of his deck when he's going for land. Yep,
and Alan scries, leaves it on top, passes a turn, so he's obviously happy with what's there. Pat comes out with Ashiok, pumps it up. He's not really worried about the Fleece main at this point in time, but Ashiok goes up to 5. Fleece main hits it down to 2. Basically, he's stalling out with Ashiok at this point in time, buying himself turns. That's why he's putting the Ashiok out.
An interesting thought of Alan there, leaving the Wingmate Rock on top of the library, knowing that Pat had the potential to play Wingmate Rock. To play Ashiok and mill the Wingmate Rock. Maybe that's what Alan wanted. Maybe that's not. A lot of people do miss that kind of information where They know that their opponents will play
a certain card.
They will play Ashiok, and you'll leave a relevant threat or something on top of your library, only to have it milled away, and your whole scry is completely pointless.
Yep.
As opposed to, say, scrying a land on the top and going, well, I know that the Ashiok's going to come down, so I'm just going to feed it.
Yep.
As we see another activation of the Fleece Main line and the
Now he could have put the Death Dealer into play then.
Yes, Death Dealer in hand.
No, he had Death Dealer under the Ashiok.
Sure.
Could have done that rather than go up, but obviously he's just still trying to buy those turns.
This is exactly where he wants to be. I mean, he's missing land drops, so obviously he's drawing spells.
Yep.
But at the same time, Alan's not doing anything. Alan can't do too much. He's not applying pressure to the board.
And Pat does have that dissolve in hand that we can see as well.
Yeah, he's in a very good position right now.
Yep.
The Ashiok's bought him 9 life, arguably, as Ashiok can only tick up right now.
Yep.
Just buying some really crucial time. Alan looks to have missed some really pivotal points in the Abzan's deck where it wants to apply pressure. As we see a Siege Runner now go underneath Ashiok's bus.
And important things for Pat there is he's getting like good removal and good card draw spells with the Ashiok as well. He's hitting those, like he's hitting the Downfall, he's hitting the Abzan chart.
Absolutely. That was really tight from Alan to get away with that that activation of the Fleece Main line. Typically, Fleece Main line activations are a very tricky thing in the blue-black control mirror, like the matchup, where you don't actually ever want to go for it, you always just threaten it.
Yep.
So that your opponent can't ever tap out. Alan can get really, really punished there by tapping out of his opponent goes Hero's Downfall.
Yep.
But then, of course, he can just untap and play the Sorin, which is also just fine.
Sure. Obviously, the Dissolve hitting the Sorin there because
post-combat Sorin.
Yep.
Typically, Sorin only ever wants to do is make a second threat, make it very hard for the blue-black controllers to be able to 1-for-1 you.
Yep.
We've seen in Dragons that the main problem with the deck, that the blue-black deck was to 1-for-1, 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 and then hopefully get some card draw.
Sure.
But with the implications of the Dragons and stuff like that, and the Esper Dragons list have certainly made it go the other way.
Yep. Looks like Pat's drawn his 5th land here, so he can come out with Vault now.
He's actually looking Pat's in a very good position, despite the Fleece Main line being monstrous.
He's on 20 life, so turn 5, still on 20 life. That's a good position for the control player to be.
We do see Pat having access to no Feltongue Invocation, which is obviously very good against the hexproof Fleece Main line. Obviously not playing Dragons, but it's stupid.
Hexproof Indestructible.
Yeah, okay. Hexproof Indestructible. Solid as a rock. But generally a few of the blue-black control players and lists that have been doing well on the TCG and things like that over the last couple of weeks have been playing 1 to 2 copies of the Feltongue Invocation to fight the Fleece Main line activations and things like this.
Yep, and here's the Jace's Ingenuity drawing 3 cards, and he found the Perilous Vault.
Yeah, that's what he needs. That's what he needs. However, it does run the risk of him taking a lot of punishment. He is a healthy 16 life though.
Yeah. So if he puts out the Vault this turn, he's then going to take, and he's counting it up now. He's counting up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 damage next turn.
Yep.
Putting him down to 6 just by putting the Vault out.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he's got any other options there, obviously it's too early for Ugin at this point in time.
You see a Dig Through Time. It looks like an Urbog. Urbog came down.
Yep.
The Silumgar's Command is still sitting in hand. I'm really interested to see about this card. I believe I did play Pat in the day, and he was playing the Silumgar's Command. I was on Esper Dragons, and I managed to take him down 2-0. But we did have a small discussion about the Silumgar's Command, and I'm yet to play with it and see the fruits of the labour. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But
how good or how bad it actually is.
It's a very interesting card, as all the commands are. But things like Jamoke's Command, we've already seen how powerful that card is. Colligan's Command in EDH formats and Grixis Delver in modern and things is just absolutely a wrecking ball. It's great.
As Pat actually comes out with Perilous Vault and passes a turn.
And I imagine Colligan's Command right now.
Yeah.
That would just be very, very good.
Pat comes through, he attacks with both creatures. We're yet to find out what's happening, if there's any sort of pump, or whether we're just going to go with the 6. But it looks like we're going to get some sort of pump activation. There we go, there's once. So it's now 8 damage, which takes half of his life total out.
Yeah.
Putting him down to 8.
This is what Alan has to do. Alan has to do this. He does have 2 Jamoke's Commands and a Fleece Main line in hand. And Jamoke's Command is practically a dead draw in this matchup. I don't think there's a single creature outside of the Ashioks that he can target.
As Pat end of turn digs through time.
Yeah, Pat's looking very healthy here. I will say that Alan's missed one of his crucial key cards in this matchup. It's very simple, but Abzan Charm.
Yep.
Abzan Charm is a very, very good way to be able to drown out your blue-black control player in the matchup game 1.
Yep.
Just by being able to see, like right now, this is perfect. His opponent has to tap out for Perilous Vault in his next turn, and you can punish with an Abzan Charm, drawing extra cards, untapping, and just dropping a Siege Rhino.
Yeah, we did actually see one of his Abzan Charms be milled by the Ashiok earlier.
True, yeah, but it's been it's not the greater card, but it's kind of like a Read the Bones.
Yep.
In the the Mardu list, the Mardu control list that was doing really well when Kanzutaki first came out.
And Alan's list does actually play 4 of them by memory.
Four Abzan Charms.
Yep.
Right. Yep. 4 Abzan Charms.
The GP Paris list. Yep.
That's it. I was actually a little surprised that Alan didn't go for the second pump there, but I can respect the fact that he just says, well, I'm going to leave up some mana so that you can't actually kill my Rikshasha Death Dealer.
Sure. So
he has to Perilous Vault. Okay, you have to Perilous Vault.
So we've come in for the attack here. Here's the Perilous Vault activation.
Bye-bye, Mr. Lion. Hello, Siege Rhino. Oh, the Nullify. Oh, wow.
That's really nice.
Very, very solid. That's actually so very good for him to be able to do that. Now the tempo is completely in his hand. He has no pressure. He's untapped, and the game is actually, that single Nullify has really put the game
in his favour. Yeah, the tempo's swung right back now. Pat's also dropped a Radiant Fountain in the meantime, going back up 10 life.
And this is not where you want to be against this matchup at all.
Now, do we come straight out with Yugen?
I think he can.
Yeah.
I think if he wants to, he definitely can. He can play as long as he wants now. He's ahead.
Yep. We certainly considered it.
Yeah. And
there we go. Yep. Coming straight out with Yugen.
Now you would have to think from Pat's side of the board, knowing that Alan has had 2 unknown cards in his hand the entire game, as to this is just a big Hero's Downfall play. Sure. But Pat also does have access to the Haven and Spirit Dragon, which I believe is a one-of in these lists. Sometimes they play 2, one Haven and the Spirit Dragon. I do like to pay attention to the lists when I'm playing my Esper Dragons, because it's a very good matchup when you just wait for them to play their Ugin and then kill it, and then they have the 1 Haven and then they concede.
Yep.
It's good. It's very, very good.
Doesn't have it though, so he took a bit of a chance there putting out the Ugin.
Yep.
But he didn't have it. I believe they only played 2 Heroes Downfalls in the list.
Yeah, that's right, 2. That's actually correct. The mid-range and control play 4, but yeah, these ones typically play the 2-4 split, with the 4 being the 4 Abzan Charms.
Yep. Now, with the Ugin here, do you neg to get rid of the Death Dealer?
I think you could just play it completely safe and do that.
Yep.
I don't think there's any reason to rush it. If Ugin's not dying...
Because you can neg 2, and that'll get rid of it altogether.
Yep.
Because it doesn't give neg 2, neg 2.
Yep.
It kills things with converted mana costs.
Well, right now Alan's plan is draw Hero's Downfall, hope that Pat doesn't have anything. If Pat has a counterspell, then he'll pick up his cards.
Sure. And we can see the dissolve in Pat's hand there as well. So as long as he keeps that mana open for the Hero's Downfall, he's pretty much on song.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure. Alan looks like he draws a 6 land for the turn. 6, and he says that's enough, and that's fair enough. I think that Alan is a mature enough player to know when he's beaten.
Yep.
And he packs him up.
Excellent. We'll be back for round 2, game 2?
Game 2, round 1.
Game 2, round 1, very shortly after they sideboard.